Hey everyone out there in YouTube land, Dan here from GeekCast Radio doing another comic book review. This time I'll be discussing Farmhand #1, a new image series from the co-creator and artist of Chew, Rob Guillory, and I went into this highly anticipating it. Chew is such a fantastic book. There's nothing quite like it. It was a sad day when that finally ended on a good note, but the good thing about it is now Rob Guillory has the opportunity to write his own series as he's writer and artist. And I gotta say, if you like Chew or you like things that are good, you should like Farmhand. I thought the first issue was relatively really strong. A lot here going on. I felt, as a first issue, it did a lot of things really well. Especially how it kind of balanced all these different elements. Like you could look at this book and there's like 3 different genres that are taking place, as well as, you're building this world, you're getting us informed of who these characters are, their relationships, and all that was intertwined with great pacing, great understanding. That the script is really strong here, and of course the art is fantastic. And it's certainly has horror elements, but I wouldn't call it a horror book. I wouldn't call it a straight comedy. I wouldn't call it a straight drama. It's like Ghostbusters in a way where it does a lot of different things equally as well as the next, and they all kind of inform and make each other better. It's just a good story, and it's about this character of Ezekiel. And he's dealing with a lot currently. I think a lot is haunting him, figuratively and literally, as he's traveling back to the town that he once grew up in. And there's certainly elements in this that you could, if you listen or read some of the interviews from Rob Guillory, that he's taking from his own life. This isn't obviously not a straight autobiography, as you learn the concept of it. At least I hope not, because if that was really going on in real life, we got some stories to tell. But he, similar to his life, he's this character is an interracial relationship. That was harder to say than I thought it would be. He's going to Louisiana, where he's also from, and also dealing with the complexity of kind of going home again. As we see in chapter 1, it's like, you can go home again, but why? Like, why would you go home again? Is it going backwards in life? Is it taking the easy way out? He's in a place that he's still figuring things out. He's also a writer, and this provides a good opportunity for him, but is it the right choice? We also see that he doesn't have the greatest relationship with his father. They seem to be estranged. We don't know why. There's a lack of trust there, but as we learn out, there might be a good reason for that. What we find out is the farm that he goes back to work on and be a part of is not your typical farm. They're not growing plants. It's on a dairy farm. They actually are growing human body parts. And in this sequence, I'm not going to show much more than this because I don't want to ruin the book, which I think is a great way of just, here's a lot of exposition in a way that makes sense. That doesn't feel like it's overloading the book or stopping the pace of the story. It's like, it's a small world type of ride that he's going through. That's first showing you that this is not just a typical farm, but also here's a lot of information, here's a lot of background to get us to this point, to get us to understand like where this world is in a very efficient and effective and humorous manner. And humor is all over this book. There's comedy everywhere in the background and the signs. If don't just look at the words on the page, you're doing yourself a disservice. There's a lot of great humor just even on bulletin boards, on the labels of different science things, or the signs of the town. It's similar to Chew, finding comedy anywhere that you can. But there's also some relationships problems that I find could be really promising. Like I mentioned, how this dynamic works. And one thing that really was striking is that it feels like every single person is out of place. Like this farm in this small city or small town feels out of place. The town is much different. The town isn't really changed. It has its lifestyle that it likes, like slow moving, and it doesn't like all this craziness. So it seems weird that this farm that has changed the world is in a town that is still kind of back in its own day. Even his father, Ezekiel's father, something about him seems out of place. What we learn how he was able to come up with this idea or the science behind these different plants that grow arms and fingers, and makes you wonder, what is there more there? It's a quick explanation that gives you the reasoning behind it, but it seems, again, mysteries are being planted. And his father a little bit more? Is there more going on there in the sense of is he perhaps evil? Is this town, the town doesn't seem to like him. They think this is from the devil. They think this is that at all true? I mean, there's some or is it a positive? Again, there's I like this, that we can ask these questions without it hurting what's on the page. Us not knowing everything about his father doesn't necessarily make that small interaction between him and Ezekiel any less. And also love the way that Rob Guillory writes the kids in this. You can tell it's someone who's been around them and knows how they interact with adults and the things that they say underneath their breath. Some of the best moments. Also, some of the oldest looking kids I've ever seen drawn, which was a great joke as well. So, it may not be everyone's cup of tea because it can be somewhat graphic, but I think it is done in a cartoony way. But I just think it's inventive, it's original, and if you like, kind of like I mentioned, if you like Chew, if you're looking for a good series to get into, this is perfect. I'm really excited to see where this goes next. I was sad to see Chew end, but sometimes endings lead to new beginnings, and that's literally what this is. I mean, like, this is. I wasn't maybe the biggest fan of the opening because I found it a little tropey, but it was a good way to establish just the mood and really get in the headspace of the character relatively effectively. But other than that, I think it was a pretty flawless issue that has a lot to be promising. And I gotta say, I love what they did with the back here, as they indicated every issue that's coming out until November 7th. So perfect. More books need to do this. Gives you a checklist of the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 issues, so you know when they're coming out. You know when to expect them. And I would highly, highly advise adding this to your pull list. Wherever that local comic book store may be, you won't be disappointed. So if you checked Farmhand #1, did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comment sections below. Did you read Chew? Did you like that? Enjoyed that? Let me know in the comment sections below. But if you want to check out more from me, check out my podcast, Comics Concierge. For now, that's it for me. Just remember, comics are for everyone. The key is finding the right one. Until next time, thanks for watching.